Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely fascinating. It's something that happens right in front of our eyes, literally every single day, but usually goes completely unnoticed. We're talking about the pop culture economy. The entertainment industry isn't just about giving us a great playlist to listen to or a fun movie to watch on a Friday night. It's actually a massive, hidden global sales engine. So if you've ever wondered why certain products suddenly just fly off the shelves, or how some pop stars manage to outlast massive corporate brands, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to look at the hard data and the brilliant underlying strategies that make this whole hidden economy tick. Okay, let's dive right into this with a question that, honestly, might seem a little bizarre at first glance. What do a peanut butter candy and the queen of pop, Madonna, actually have in common? Seriously, take a second to think about it. On the surface, absolutely nothing, right? One is a snack you grab at the movie theater concession stand, and the other is literally one of the most famous musicians of the 20th and 21st centuries. But behind the scenes, they're completely linked by a shared economic reality. And the answer is masterful pop culture marketing. Think about it. The fundamental problem that literally every business on Earth faces is capturing audience attention. Whether you're selling chocolate or selling concert tickets, you desperately need eyes and ears. Pop culture partnerships solve this problem brilliantly. So today, we're unpacking exactly how this attention is captured, how it's monetized, and crucially, how it's sustained over decades. Let's get right into Section 1, the pop culture economy, when entertainment becomes a global sales engine. And for our first lens today, we're looking at blockbuster product placements, or what we can call the outside-in strategy. So we're going to look at this entire concept through two distinct lenses: outside brands entering the entertainment space and entertainers functioning as their own corporate brands. Now, according to data from Hollywood Branded, there is literally no better place to start than this epic 1982 David versus Goliath moment. Picture this. The Mars Candy Company gets approached by Steven Spielberg. Now, he wasn't quite the absolute household name he is today. He basically asked if his brand new movie about a little alien could feature M&Ms. Mars? They turned him down cold. They passed. But that massive rejection left the door wide open for the underdog, Hershey's Reese's Pieces, which was basically a newly launched brand at the time. They took the deal. And as you probably know, in the movie, the character Elliot uses a trail of Reese's Pieces to make friends with the alien, E.T. The results? Absolutely staggering. We're talking a massive 67% sales increase for Reese's Pieces right after the film dropped. Now, Hershey had agreed to spend $1 million in cross-promotional media advertising, money they were probably going to spend on ads anyway, right? But this was in exchange for the right to use E.T. in their own marketing. And man, the payoff was immediate. Kids everywhere rushed out to buy the candy, basically hoping to find their own extraterrestrial. It was this brilliant, culturally defining moment that proved once and for all how powerfully movies can actually move inventory. But look, product placement isn't always about a carefully placed candy wrapper or a packaged good. Sometimes it's about perfectly scripted, seemingly totally organic movie dialogue. Take the 2012 Marvel mega hit, The Avengers. Out of nowhere, Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr., turns to Captain America and just says, "Have you ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here." The filmmakers even threw in that famous post-credits, blooper-style scene where these exhausted superheroes are just sitting around a table, silently eating shawarma. Now, this isn't a specific brand placement. It's the placement of an entire category of food. Talk about generating a super-powered craving. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer raw power of cultural influence. Following the film's release, there was a reported 80% jump in overall shawarma sales in the Los Angeles area. 80%! Just from that one piece of dialogue and that one visual gag. It really goes to show that audiences aren't just sitting there passively watching a movie. They actually want to participate in the lifestyle of the characters they love on screen. Let's summarize this whole outside-in strategy by anchoring these huge cultural moments to some hard numbers. Check this out. Audi experienced a 30% plus sales increase after Iron Man 2. Ray-Ban saw a whopping 55% bump in Wayfarer sales after Tom Cruise danced in them in Risky Business, and then, just a few years later, a 40% increase in Aviator sales after he wore them on the poster for Top Gun. And, of course, Reese's Pieces with their legendary 67% bump from E.T. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that when a product is integrated organically into a compelling story, it completely bypasses our normal advertising defenses. It doesn't feel like a commercial at all, it just feels like part of the art. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 2, the ultimate celebrity brand,
the inside-out strategy.
So how exactly does a celebrity use this inside-out strategy? Well, it turns out Madonna wasn't just an entertainer who occasionally did a brand endorsement on the side. No, she was a pioneering businesswoman who basically structured herself as a living, breathing corporation. Her strategic milestones are honestly wild. She actually trademarked her name way back in 1979, before she was even famous. Then, in 1990, she became the first solo female entrepreneur to ever grace the cover of Forbes magazine. And on top of that, she became one of the first female CEOs in her industry by establishing Maverick Records. You have to remember, she debuted in an era when most entertainers actively ran away from labels like manager or businesswoman because they were terrified of looking like sellouts. But Madonna, she completely embraced it. And the financial scale of her business acumen is just undeniable. Under her direct control and approval, her record label, Maverick Records, generated well over $1 billion for Warner Bros., a billion with a B. At the time, it was recognized as the single most successful artist-run vanity label in existence. So she wasn't just churning out hits for herself, she was a highly profitable executive discovering and releasing other artists. She established a level of financial control that was incredibly, incredibly rare for women in the industry at that time.
In fact, her corporate strategies were so unbelievably effective, they actually birthed real business terminology. Enter the Madonna effect. This was a term coined by Professor Orrin Harari, and it basically means reinventing yourself to keep yourself and your business relevant to the culture of that demographic. She became a literal conduit for trends, teaching the corporate business world that you absolutely cannot rely on one static product image forever. If you want to survive, you have to evolve alongside your consumer base. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the economics of reinvention, mastering longevity and the bottom line.
You see, to protect the bottom line in an industry that is literally built on fleeting trends, the corporate world utilizes another term, the Madonna curve. This is a phrase genuinely used by business analysts, think tanks. I mean, it was even used in an article for NATO. It describes the ability to adapt to new tasks while staying true to one's own core principles. It's that rare capacity to radically alter your external image just to stay popular, but underneath all that visual difference, your core brand identity remains rock solid.
And this intense business clout easily extended into completely different industries. Let's take the coconut water brand, Vita Coco. Back in the day, the brand was relatively small, but Madonna invested in it, and then she actually convinced a bunch of other heavy-hitting celebrities to do exactly the same. Following her push and social media promotion, their web traffic just exploded. Vita Coco grew to capture an absolutely incredible 60% of the US market share, making them the global sales leader. She proved without a doubt that her brand equity could be seamlessly transferred right over to consumer packaged goods.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just her sheer, uninterrupted financial dominance over time. Look at this timeline. She appeared as the Forbes top-earning female musician a record 11 times, spanning 4 completely separate decades. In the 80s, she was the top earner. In 1990, she got that Forbes cover. Fast forward to 2009, she became the first female artist to ever earn over $100 million in a single year. And then in 2013, she wasn't just the highest-paid female artist, she was the highest-paid celebrity overall, pulling in a staggering $125 million. This timeline is the ultimate proof that the Madonna curve works. Constant reinvention directly sustains the bottom line. But here's the crazy part. Her economic impact isn't just measured in her own personal wealth or her record sales. Her brand power has actually moved the needle on entire global economies through tourism. Think about it. The song La Isla Bonita actively, measurably benefited the tourism sector of San Pedro town in Belize. Her wedding to Guy Ritchie, it created this massive media frenzy that sparked a huge tourism boom in the Scottish Highlands. During the 2000s, her visits to Israel provided a major media coup for their tourism ministry right in the middle of a crisis. And her move to Lisbon, Portugal between 2017 and 2020, international media actually credited her with boosting the entire country's luxury tourism and real estate markets. I mean, that is the true scale of the pop culture economy, when a single solo entertainer can literally influence global travel patterns. Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. The next time you sit down to watch a movie, or you stream a new song, or maybe you read a headline about some celebrity moving to a new city, ask yourself, are you just being entertained, or are you being marketed to? As we've seen today, from Reese's Pieces brilliantly sneaking their way into E.T., all the way to Madonna fundamentally restructuring the very concept of an artist into a billion-dollar global brand, the line between art and commerce, at the absolute highest levels, it doesn't really exist. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the hidden gears of the pop culture economy. Stay curious, keep analyzing the world around you, and I will see you next time.